Alright. The question now isn't, is Game Pass sustainable? I believe Xbox has already answered that question by putting day one games on their service along with continued support. See Adamfall, Ninja Gaiden, and Clear Obscure. The actual question is, given the current climate, does Game Pass as a model make sense in the present day, and what are its potential reach and external limitations? Because at the core of it, if going the traditional buy-to-play model brings in more profits in the short term, then the subscription play only makes sense if it brings you security and more profits in the long term. But the key word here is more. So there's no pushback here that Xbox is making money off Game Pass. The question is, if Game Pass were to shut down now, would this be financially better for Xbox, and would it make sense given the trajectory of the video game industry? First up, the ceiling. Game Pass represents a shift not just in business models, but in audience reach. The potential ceiling for services like Game Pass, especially when paired with cloud gaming, can go far beyond the traditional game sales model. With subscriptions, Microsoft isn't only targeting core gamers, it's going after a much broader audience. People who are already accustomed to paying monthly fees for services like Netflix, Spotify, HBO Max, or even niche subscriptions like meal kits or fitness apps. This is part of our daily routines, and this alignment with modern consumption habits is critical for any forward-focusing business. As Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, noted in an interview with The Verge, Game Pass is not a play to replace console sales, it's a play to reach gamers wherever they are. That wherever includes smart TVs, mobile phones, and low-spec laptops, all made possible via xCloud gaming, which is a key component in this equation. Now, cloud gaming has been growing, and xCloud has reached over 140 million playtime hours, and we know GeForce Now has over 25 million users, a service that became available to the public in 2020. However, cloud gaming isn't at the level it needs to be for wide adoption, which directly correlates with the lack of Game Pass adoption. In fact, what I'm actually saying is, there is a direct causation. Now, during the lack of presence on the largest console market storefronts like PlayStation, Steam, and the Nintendo Switch, you end up painting a grim picture of growth. So the question remains, given the current conditions, is the traditional way more profitable than subscriptions? Yes. On per game basis, traditional sales will yield higher short-term revenue. Selling 10 million copies of a €70 Call of Duty is more valuable than having 10 million or 15 million players playing via Game Pass. But it also creates financial spikes and valleys, as these games might succumb to fatigue or quality control. For example, you might not be interested in the new COD, so you skip it this year. But if you're a Game Pass subscriber, that revenue, albeit smaller, is captured via the subscription, which results in a steady and predictable cash flow, a valuable metric to any business or shareholders. So to conclude, the biggest barrier isn't the model, it's the ecosystem, potential users who are locked behind platforms such as the Switch, PlayStation, Steam, and the lack of access to cloud gaming. Convincing those users to switch is somewhat difficult, but as we've seen, consumers are increasingly becoming platform agnostic and are open to subscription models that can be accessed anywhere. Perfect example of this is Apple Arcade, which reportedly has over 100 million subscribers. If I'm Microsoft and I'm looking at the evidence and trends, it's not a matter of are we willing to play the long game. I think they're motivated as they understand the trajectory of the industry is going this way. And when that time comes, infrastructure improves and other platforms open up due to regulatory concerns, they should be in theory in a prime position to be the dominant player. We'll see.